Recording. Chewing gum.
Gotta put it in like a dip.
Shut up.
You don't want that nicotine gum to be slopping around.
I'll do it all day.
Well, nicotine gum is cool. Why don't you sponsor this podcast, you Sweden beautiful franchise, you?
What? You Sweden beautiful
Did you know
franchise?
Nicorette's from Sweden? I meant to say company, but I said franchise.
Okay.
Hey, did you know this is Sweat Equity Podcast?
Yes.
We're the number one comedy business podcast in the world. On this earth, in this universe.
I already did the thing, though. I'm not gonna...
Listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, or Amazon Podcasts, whatever it is now. If you want to help the show out, here's some sponsors that are going to help you out.
And away we go.
Squarespace, your all-in-one website builder. Do whatever design you need, custom code, all-in-one, e-commerce. Get the link in this episode description. CallRail, you want to track all the calls on your website?
Yes.
You want to get all those calls recorded too?
Yeah.
To keep tabs on the grunts talking on the phone?
Yeah.
Well, hit up the link in our episode description and you can track all calls. Doesn't have to be on your website. It could be on other entities, your Google My Business, your Yelp, whatever it is. You can get a bunch of phone numbers and track them all. Bigly Sales, a CRM with marketing outreach with email, phone, dialer, and SMS marketing. And I got to tell you, pay as you go, 1 cent per SMS. That's insane. Go to our link in the episode description. Get that CRM with marketing outreach. And lastly, LinkedIn Premium. You want 2 months free? LinkedIn Premium?
Yes.
You want to be creeping on Ryan Reynolds? Is he creeping on you?
He's creeping on me.
Well, you can see all the views.
I'm on his list. I'm coming for you, Ryan Reynolds.
You can see it with the premium.
Not in a malicious way, other than getting you off LinkedIn. That's another thing. All right.
2 months free. If no one gets that reference, listen to the last episode. 2 months free with the episode description. There's a link right in that little text.
I got carried away. My bad.
I know, but that's okay.
Ryan Reynolds drives me nuts.
Go back to Canada, dude. Let's get this party started. Hotty toddy.
It's called Sweat Equity.
Listening to the Sweat Equity Podcast.
Because comedy is all contrast and conflict, right? So it's like, yeah, I can give comedy 101 stuff. If we're
Maybe we start here.
Okay. Adam, you there?
I'm here, guys.
Hello, Adam.
Hello.
This is how
we're all wearing white shirts today. Good job. All right. Memo.
This is how you start y'all's podcast, Dirty Secrets of Small Business. Was checking that out a little bit ago. Y'all, I like your very casual nature on the podcast. The way you intro is like, "How you doing?"
Same shirts, cool. Shirts are cool.
That's right. Come right into the middle of the discussion. That's how it works. You got it.
Well, we thanks for coming back on, y'all. We definitely felt like I feel bad we didn't have y'all on sooner, and so you want me to hit this?
Well, yeah, go for it.
I want to ask people that return on the podcast the same question we asked you on the first one, but if you wanted to revise it, what advice would you ask or tell your 13-year-old self?
Buy a business as soon as you can.
Yeah?
Yeah, a small business.
Well, you did it with your eyebrow raised, if anybody's watching on video.
Remember, it's your 13-year-old self. You know, you got to give him he might buy a bad business right away, and then everything changes.
Yeah, he might go heavy into Pogs.
Dude, I was going to fucking say Pogs. I swear to God.
Now, Magic the Gathering would have been a good investment, because now you can sell those.
I'm creeped out right now.
Yeah.
Quit it.
Anything you can do to control your own destiny versus going to get a job. And so, in our minds, buying a company is easier than starting a company. So if you can find something to buy and be able to run it, that would be the best thing to do.
So you would time travel Bill and Ted style in a telephone booth, come out, see yourself at 13 with a luscious amount of hair and no goatee. Actually, it's funnier in my head if you have a
Yeah,
goatee.
it's funnier with the goatee.
At 13. And,
Right, probably starting then. That's
and
right.
you're grabbing yourself by the collared shirt and go, you need to buy a business.
As soon as you can.
Yeah.
And then you
That would
leave.
sell. That would sell right
And
away.
13-year-old goes, where do I get all the money for the business? And you're gone.
Yeah, it's just a cloud of smoke.
And then God knows what you do for the money.
Jack, what?
What Adam's saying is that gives you flexible ability to do anything you want. So you got a paycheck of sorts coming, for sure, and you kind of move to your side gigs and make those things happen.
Well, Jack, if memory serves correctly, that was your trajectory, right? You started in corporate and kind of moved over to this space. Is that right?
Yep.
Is it? Yes. Sorry about that. Yeah.
I think you're like, did he ask a
Scanning.
question?
He had a pregnant pause. That's
Yeah.
all right.
The dog came in my room here.
You know
Dog's
what?
feeding him answers.
Well, yeah, the dog's helping you out, man.
Yes, just say yes.
Is that
This interview is rough.
no? Oh, I see what you did there. Woof.
I got it.
Sorry.
Now, what would you bark to yourself?
Okay, well, don't ruin it.
Oh, I'll Family Guy drive this into the ground.
Jeez.
Jack, what? Any revision on what you would tell your 13-year-old self?
I'd tell him to also get a company. We think the same. There's nothing more secure than that. A job is not secure. It's just not the way to go. So if you start running a business, not starting one from scratch, but getting one, and you can get them pretty easily. There's millions of this, probably 27 million small businesses in the country. 27 million. And if you put your mind to it, you can get one of those, and you can probably get it for little or no money. But you gotta have some skills. 13 years old doesn't have too much in the way of skills, but that's what to do. And once you learn that, you got more security than you can handle.
Yeah, maybe you could at 13 you could have hustled everybody in Jack's or something. 22 skidooed it.
Be like one of those YouTubers who turns $1 into a house in a week somehow.
You don't
And
go
proves
after
it.
people
And shows it on
after men in
film.
their prime. Don't go to men in their prime. Go to other 13-year-olds. They got companies too.
Buy all the 30.
Give me that lemonade stand. I want to acquire it right now. Well, we have we like to ask for the returning guests. We have a few questions. You want to pick one of these?
I can't
Can you
read
read? You can't read it.
I know one of them is what's something crazy you want to do that you don't tell anybody about?
What's something that you
Like something that you might not think it's actually going to happen, or it's like kind of a out there dream.
For instance, I think I could be a good race car driver, yet I don't know how to drive stick.
Right. Me too.
I've only driven stick twice. Actually, once was on a Ford Fiesta when I was 14. The other one was actually on a stock car doing a drive around with Richard Petty driving experience. So I've driven stick twice, but yeah, I don't have much confidence in that
Quite
either.
the swing and car quality there.
Yeah.
It's very different, right? Yeah, the Ford Fiesta with about.
I've only done this once before in a Ford Fiesta. Let's see how this goes.
Could a Ford Fiesta be further from its name?
Right.
It was a really kind of an ugly green though, so it kind of did bring the party a little bit. So you kind of noticed it when it came in. So yeah, it did okay.
Like old cupboard avocado, like muted green.
Right. You brought the guac
Exactly.
Yeah.
to the Fiesta.
There's a story in Chicago that four punks were trying to do a carjacking. They got in and none of them could drive stick shift, so they had to abandon it.
Yeah.
So stick shift's a good thing to learn how to do.
Well, now
Well, if you want to steal a car.
yeah, now it's about catalytic
Yeah.
converters.
Yeah, that's a big business, to say the least.
That's a wild, part of the times right now. The Kia boys, as they call them, because Kias are easy to steal catalytic converters from.
Okay.
I don't know.
Why do you know that?
Well,
Was that a PSA?
Why do I know?
Why does he know that?
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I heard
No,
it.
we want answers.
I don't have
What
a footnote.
forums are you on? Yes, you are. You know that somehow.
It's definitely a podcast. I can't remember which one.
Mhm.
I look. I just absorb knowledge. That's
Yeah.
why. That's why I love talking to these two guys.
Yeah.
What is something y'all you think you can do? You have a daydream about that's a little silly if you've told anybody else.
Perform at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Ooh, that could be fun.
Adam, let's go first.
Can't use that one.
No, I can't use that one. No.
I feel like Jack's got something. Maybe we'll give Adam a minute.
Thinking if it's worthy of you.
Of us?
Ooh,
Man, he just went Thanos on us.
that hurts our feelings.
He just became a deity. I don't know if you're worthy enough. Maybe is it becoming a pastor? You could bless us with the Ash Wednesday on the forehead and all that.
Ooh. Like a scared straight drill sergeant guy screams.
My grandmother was convinced I was going to be a priest when I was a kid because I'd always raise my hands up like this. She goes, "Oh, you're going to be my priest."
That's all the qualifications.
I guess I don't know. I like girls too much. That was the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to be a star athlete at some level, that would be something that
I would like to see that.
I think
I would too.
I bet you clean up on the pickleball court. I bet you come in like the guy in softball that's a fat oaf on third base. You're like, I'm going to hit it right to him.
I love
And
YouTube videos of fat guys being good at basketball.
Yeah, and the guy in softball
I love that. I could watch this all day.
He's a vacuum cleaner.
White chocolate.
He's quick and fat somehow.
Right.
Yeah. I bet you can come in and kind of slow play everybody. Like, oh boy, this guy is a little long in the tooth, and you just go rocket. Just
Right.
go.
You guys want double or nothing?
Well, you have to do-si-do. You have to basically swing with your teammate. You rotate teammates. You don't get your own.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't know if you know
matter.
that. Anyway.
I wouldn't mind caddying on the pro tour. I used to be caddy growing up for a bunch of years. I play golf. I'm not good enough to actually play. I wouldn't mind caddying on the tour for a bit. I think that'd be kind of fun to kind of go around. Now, whether I want to do the live tour or not, who knows? So that's kind of becoming the PGA tour as well. I think it'd be kind of cool to be out traveling around and see the world that way. Just be kind of a fun way to do things. Something I thought about when I was younger. I haven't thought about that in a while though. You guys bring it up.
I hope next time we talk to y'all, he's like, guess what?
I did it, guys.
I got the bag. That's
I'm
right.
in Qatar.
Yeah.
There I am.
I'm in the minor leagues for live, so
Right.
I have to go to weird places in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But
got to help build the buildings,
but the money's good, so it's all right.
yeah,
caddy's a
Oh, it
weird
sure
job.
is.
well, I do use golf as a comparison with business. Entrepreneurship is the games between your ears, and y'all seem
It's a stretch of a metaphor, I think.
no.
It is.
What's the E myth? The E myth is
just saying,
entrepreneurs getting their own way.
Convince me.
The game's between your ears. That's it. That's all you need to.
That's it. That's your convincing.
I need more.
You can say that about any sport.
No, not. But golf is the ultimate of that. Like any
Yes.
athletic guy
Okay.
can go out and swing.
I guess.
If you ever go to a golf tournament, go to the range for an hour and watch guys hit balls. You'll see guys you've never heard of before. They're like machines at the range. But then taking it from the range and going back out to the course, it's very different. Now, you have the same thing with open gyms. Guys, lighten it up with open gyms, and they get in front. They get in the court in front of a bunch of people. All of a sudden, they can't shoot it up. It doesn't happen as much, but you can usually tell the difference with the guys. But it's amazing with those golfers. They're all physically, they all have a lot of the very same tools. It's just, I agree with you. It's so much between the ears. It's a big deal.
I'm gonna Tiger Woods fist pump that. Yeah.
What? You don't get any points for that.
Yeah.
I'm saying all sports are between the ears.
Sure, but I'm saying
Sure they are, especially at the professional level.
Right.
There's no question.
I'll agree. I'll agree. Golfers look the least athletic, so there's probably more going on in between the ears.
you gotta have good hips, or you look like Charles
Right.
Barkley.
You
Or
gotta be a little, gotta have some flexibility in your torso and all that. But really, you can kind of just go out there and fling it around.
I kind of hate playing golf because people watch you tee off, and I think about them thinking about me.
This goes back to my idea for the tour of like you go and it's Top Golf style, And everybody's loud, whooping it up. There's no like pious quietness to everything. I think America would embrace it.
Right.
That's the Arizona Waste Management Tournament.
Well,
it is like everybody that watches Happy Gilmore and gets drunk is in the audience.
Well, I didn't know about it. They need to work on the marketing.
The wasted,
I want to see
they call it the Wasted Management Tournament.
That's good.
So, it's been a while since y'all have come on. Has anything changed since you last came on? I can't remember. It's maybe been a year. I don't even know how long it's been. But anything with what you're doing with MaximumVP.com, if anybody wants to go there.
Sorry, well, Maximum Value Partners, a big part of what we're doing with our coaching is we're helping a handful of our clients who have been selling their companies. They've gotten those offers that they couldn't refuse. And it's an interesting time to see that when you run your company for whether it be 5 years or 20 years, and all of a sudden somebody comes knocking on the door and gives you an offer you can't refuse. So we've had several clients over the last couple of years, especially, that we've been helping them through that process. And it's a very, very fun process, but very, very stressful, as you might imagine, as well.
What's stressful about it?
Well, one of the challenges is, well, what do you do next after you sell? And it sounds like a simple thing, and everybody always dreams, hey, I'd love to go retire and sit in the beach and do whatever. And folks are often visualizing whatever their best vacation was years ago. But it gets kind of boring after a little while. So you got to figure out what you want to do next, especially if you're younger. We've had several clients who are in their 40s that have been selling. It's really hard just to retire and sit back and twiddle your thumbs for another 40 or 50 years if you get to that point. So figure out what's next. That's part of the emotion. Also, just it's your baby to a certain extent. Having to sell to somebody else and step away from it, it's very difficult to do at times.
Yeah, part of the problem is having that emotional attachment to it. Like y'all can buy my business. That's fine. We'll talk after the show. It's always for sale.
I would start being like, have you ever smoked weed before?
Sure.
That can eat some time up.
Oh.
And then like 50% of the people will then be fine. Well, then you're cutting down on your stress of what to do next by like half.
Well, I'm guessing
my opinion.
You're talking with people that I'm not good at vacationing. I'm good for a day or two. About day 3, I'm like, we got to do something. I need to play a game. I need to go play a sport. I can't lay around and read because I don't read very well. but
very few people have retired and come back from it. I mean, it's just they got to work, and all of a sudden they just haven't given retirement a real serious thought, and they're thrust into that world, and it's often not pleasant. There's everyone dreams of being wealthy. Well, wealthy has its own obstacles that are tough to get through, but everyone will discount that and say, hey, the hell with it, I'd rather be that way. Well, I tried retiring twice through my career, and I'm a little bit longer in my career than you guys are. And it's hard. I can't take a vacation either. I don't enjoy it after about 3 or 4 days, long weekend somewhere maybe. But there's a lot to it. And, with our backgrounds, we can do this for small businesses, real small, under a couple million in sales. And no one's out there serving these people. But we do, and it's a lot of fun, very fulfilling, and there's money to be made there too. So, that's a big deal for us right now.
Wouldn't you say so? I kind of have a bug up my ass, and everyone's like, "Well, I'm not happy with my career or my business," and it's like, "Well, stop thinking about it in those terms because that's almost like trying to be perfect, right? You can't. It's almost you can't do it." But you said fulfill. I would say have something that makes you satisfied or content, right? Like for y'all, the real vacation in a weird way, sounds counterintuitive, is the success of these people you're helping out. I say the best beer you ever have is when you're volunteering all day to help, something physical, right? And then you go, oh, I kind of did something. Or with us, it's like we got you from here to here. We got you in that growth phase from here to here. We're part of that story. That's something I do get a satisfaction out of, right? Does it make me happy? Not necessarily, but
right.
Happy I think is is like a fruitless pursuit.
Yeah. Did you watch the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary yet?
I just did. It was fantastic.
Right? And the part where he was talking about his dad and just growing up and what he said about, he's like, we don't have time to think about how I feel today. We don't have time to think about our feelings. Like, there's stuff to do. Like, stop thinking about your feelings. There's other things going on.
Well, that is a luxury.
And I was like, yes, that is a big deal. Like, why are we thinking about it so much? Oh, I don't feel great today. Okay, well, nobody cares, including you should not care.
Well, we're also in the overthinking era, probably. It's not just a lady thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, one of the emotional things too. It's tough to give up the power. As we're coming on here, you guys talking about Biden, right? Biden's 80 years old. Why doesn't he just ride off the sunset? He's been doing this for 50 years. Well, it's hard to give it up. If all of a sudden you're the guy in charge, and then you walk away from that, you start missing it. So if you're used to being the guy every day, and then all of a sudden you aren't the guy anymore, and we've seen that happen where folks, they don't know what to do. They want coming back into the business because they're so used to being, that main person. It's tough to replace that.
Yeah, well, what's Biden going to do? How's he going to steal more speeches to give? Because he's been doing that for 50 years. Plus, career politicians, like, they really got nothing to do. Like, they're kind of the golden. He's like golden parachute kind of area, and he's like,
all of their wives are like somehow amazing CEOs. Usually, they're like all like very successful. Like,
well, Nancy Pelosi's like her husband's like the best stockbroker of all time.
Isn't that weird? Is that
weird? It's a coincidence, isn't it?
Golly, these politicians are like so lucky. They win the election and they're married to rich people.
And it's like CNN doesn't want to talk about it.
So weird, man.
Can I go back and revise my 13-year-old thing? Can I marry Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah, she's got big old titties.
Run for office.
Yeah.
Run for office. That's it.
She's got those huge G boobs.
Wow, what?
What?
Isn't Nancy Pelosi?
She's a gilf, dude. Maybe a G gilf.
I was going to say double G's or 1G or 2G with that.
Like, I don't watch the news anymore, so I don't know.
Oh, well, it's not on the news when I see her on.
Is that the websites that teach you how to be a criminal?
No, Fapello gets you around all the OnlyFans paywall.
Okay, so that's on the Kia site. It was on the Kia's.
Right, the how to steal a Kia website.com.
They're called the Kia Boys, guys, and they steal Kias and catalytic converters from Kias. It's a thing. Look it up.
Nancy Pelosi photoshopped in a bikini is their logo.
I mean, look, maybe I'm just too hetero and just I can't not see her huge swinging boobs at 80. But every time I've seen her, I'm like, Jesus, her back has to hurt. Like,
all right,
put her in a Hannibal Lecter dolly.
What do you think, Jack?
She's getting bigger. That's right, she is.
Listen too. See,
Jack knows. Jack knows.
Jack, thank you for confirming.
Thank you
that,
for playing.
Because I was on the plank all the way at the end, and no one was going to say anything. Yeah, they're like.
I believe you. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're hitting their knees. They're huge. Before y'all came on, we always like to ask, what did you want to talk about? And I thought this was really interesting. And in my head, kind of compared it to the golden rule. When you're buying and selling small business, you said you love asking people the question, if they gave you this business, would you take it? To me, that feels like a golden rule for business almost. That's how I kind of interpret it.
That clears the deck. You have various reasons. Usually it's BS or not thought through well, and here you're taking one of the biggest steps in your life. And to basically get through that, okay, you got to know what's going on.
What do people say that kind of opens your eyes when you ask them that? Because that is a very honest question that cuts right to it, right?
Well, people usually try to find reasons not to do something. So if it comes to doing a deal, like your first question is, well, where do you find the money? People, I have money. It's like, forget all that crap. Okay, so look, somebody's going to give it to you. Would you take it? Usually they stop and go, well, what does that look like, right? I mean, well, why would somebody? Also, it seems so foreign to them, right? But to Jack's point, they just say, Get rid of all the excuses and the BS. Look, if somebody were to give this to you, and maybe it was a relative who passed away, or it's just somebody you're working for who just can't do it anymore. But there's lots of ways that it might look. But it's helping to kind of clear the deck, get all the excuses out of the way, and say, look, would you take it? Because some companies you wouldn't take, but most of them you would. And so it starts to work from there. So it helps us just to break down a lot of those barriers that people put in the way. But it's just of their own making versus being real from that standpoint.
Yeah, it puts them in the place like they're past all of the paperwork, all the stuff that they don't want to do. That's like probably tedious to them. They like probably running the business for however many years, where it's like, okay, let's just say it's handed to me. Do I like the day to day? Do I like what we're doing? That sort of thing. I love it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I thought it was more. So I'll compare this. Like, I've heard a good dating question is like, would you date you if you were the person you're trying to pursue? Because it'll tell you a lot. I thought this was more of like, this is going to get
no.
Well, no. What it does is it makes people think and go, well, actually, I don't know. I got to work on some things. Like
oh yeah, that's what I did.
But like, I mean, or it'll tell you about them, right? If they go, of course I would. Yeah, I pay myself all the time, dude. But,
okay.
But like, I thought this was more of an introspective question. Internal question. Like, when you're asking people that, I was thinking more like they would kind of go backwards, and I think that's smart to ask because it gets you past the actual sale and go backwards a little bit and go, do I even like this, or am I just in it? And why did I get in it? It's kind of what we talk about with people when we do rebrands and stuff for people, and it's like I tell them you need to go in the woods, do some shrooms by yourself, and you really need to think about who the business is or who you are and what it is, why you do it, what's the passion, all those who, what, when, where, why, how questions that you don't take time to think about.
Right. So it's a key thing to get people thinking a little differently, to your point, and get them out of their head. And can they envision themselves being there? And Jack met a couple of guys about 20 years ago, and these guys had looked at over 200 companies, and they had all the means and wherewithal to be able to do these deals, and yet they found reasons for all 200 plus deals to say no to it. It seems crazy to us that again, there's got to be something good in there. If they'd given it to these guys, but they were just looking, they liked just talking about doing deals, even though they never did any deals. It was more to say, I can go to parties, tell my friends, I'm constantly, looking for deals versus, well, hey, did you ever do anything? And these guys didn't do crap other than talk about it.
To buy companies or to acquire companies, small businesses that there's millions of them, and every day an owner of some business somewhere basically is having health issues, family issues. They want to get out of that business. And you can buy companies for no money down and no guarantees. You can do that. I've bought 5 of them through the years, turned them around and sold them off again. But people think you need a pile of cash and you need all this expertise because they never really thought it through. But it's to get a small business. I always use a pizza shop as an example of a small business. Would you take a pizza shop if it's fairly well run, not stellar, but the owner decides to bail out, he gets divorced, and whatever the problem might be? Here's a company that this person will deal. So when you say if somebody gave you this company, you can make an offer on a company that doesn't bind you. You're just replacing somebody without energy with energy. And they're all those are all available. Banks lend money out and they get some troubled loans and they'll deal. They'll deal like you wouldn't believe, but you don't read about it. You don't hear about it. People don't do it. Well, let me tell you, you can do it and you can do very well for yourself. Yeah. So that's a big deal with us, to get them. We know the retirement's going to be a problem, and we know money isn't always the issue. If you got a stellar company with a beautiful receptionist and state-of-the-art equipment and technology, you aren't going to get that for nothing. But some company on the outskirts of Chicago city limits and You know, running a company that's deteriorating, that person will deal. And if you have skills, you can come in and pretty much get into any situation and do better than what's going on. So people get dispirited, and it's for us. It's fun. We got a lot of levels of fun when we do this stuff.
Is that fair to say? Because they don't really contingency plan if this happens, or or really take a look at themselves. A lot of people start a business, they have a lot of gusto, and that fades, and they never really kind of do that. Kind of like calibration to get them back to loving it again, right? Like I always say, like a lot of people start a small business because they're good at one thing or they love it or both, right? So the pizza shop, the guy, he makes a great pizza and loves hosting, but he hates operations and he hates having to buy the ingredients because he hates inventory because it's boring. And he still loves pizza, but like that can wane the day to day.
But what Jack put it great. You're replacing somebody without energy with energy.
Right, but I'm saying get there. I think
right, and that's where the energy drain goes. All that stuff they don't want to do.
Talk to my ex-wife. Hey yo. I'll do some.
Thank you.
I'll do some Rodney one-liners.
Should we ask her about dating you and see what she would say? You probably already asked her that, but that's all right.
Oh, it's on the internet, probably. So you can. I'm sure it's on some lady message boards or Pinterest or something.
Pinterest.
All right.
I'm sure there's a lot of shit talking about me online. It's from her, but we're in a good spot co-parenting. It's one of those things where when you had that question, if they gave you this business, would you take it? I guess I thought. My thing was like I was thinking of some guy who's like, this place is a sham, and we use a lot of Chinese drywall to make the product. And
the feds are on our ass. Any day they're going to come busting through that door.
We're like
we've been laundering money for years.
We're like the chicken guy in Breaking Bad, really.
Laundering money.
There are lots of great companies, like you were saying before. People start a company either to get away from something, right? They're working a job that they don't like, so they want to start work for themselves, but they just get into it, and they're grinding day to day, and they aren't necessarily thinking about the exit in terms of what's going to happen. And so some days it just comes upon them where either they're just fed up, a health issue comes up, things just happen, and there's nowhere else for them to turn, so they aren't sure what to do with it. And they like to see it kind of go on. So, Jack's saying, we see these opportunities a lot where, part of the way people give you the company is, the current owner will play the bank for you. And so the current owner goes away and you just pay the owner for a few years, when they aren't there anymore. So the business funds the buyout. But they often get just so tired and worn out from doing what they're doing day to day, they say, hey, I'm done. But there's, to your point, there are some bad companies out there, but most of them are good, legitimate businesses, and it's just they need some love and attention, a little more energy, perhaps, or just a new way of thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet. Like the one thing I also thought of is you guys look at EBITDA on a as a metric. I'm sure, right? Like
EBITDA,
and what
cash flow is a big deal,
and what it could be if y'all invigorated it. It's funny, effort matters, and a lot of people don't think that way. They think they think they're giving effort and they're not really. But I feel like positive energy effort is underrated.
Yeah, run that grounder out.
Well, part of it is working on the right things. Both of you guys are in pretty decent shape, so you guys probably go to the gym and work out and stuff like that. But
my lady friend asked if I was on steroids, and I was like, "Thank you."
Well, but you guys probably know what you're doing in the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks go to the gym. You look around the gym. How many folks in the gym have no clue what they're doing? Yet they keep coming, to your point, while they keep putting effort in, but they're putting effort in that's futile because they're doing the wrong stuff, right? Or they're doing a little bit of the right stuff, but then they're doing all the wrong things outside, so it's not going to even matter from that standpoint. So a lot of companies that way, where they're doing some things right, but they're doing a lot of things not so right. They just aren't sure, so they're just doing the best they know how to do, and they're just they kind of keep plugging along. So if they start to realize that and realize that there's a better way, that's often where we'll come in. And they'll see the need for a coach. Day one, most people have I don't need a coach. How hard can it be? I can figure this stuff out. But then as the months and years go by, they start having more and more questions and say, hey, maybe I can use some guidance and help. Maybe I don't need to make all the mistakes myself. Maybe I can learn from somebody else's mistakes.
Ego's a tricky thing, right? You need it to push forward, but it can cloud everything up.
That's where the mushrooms come in, right?
Yes.
Gets rid of the ego.
For real.
Kill that.
I've done an ego death. I don't recommend it. Don't do the rookie move of
It grew back.
these aren't working. I need to take more.
Take more.
And then I'm holding my dog and crying in the fetal position.
You might remind me of Wolf of Wall Street when the Quaaludes finally kicked in. They were old. Yeah, right.
That's just a good time. We're down in Florida. That's most of Florida, man.
It's ego growth.
Well, appreciate y'all coming on. We're a little silly today, but I think y'all played along with us on that, and we'll have to have you back on again when and anybody out there listening. Everybody out there listening, they've got a podcast. How long has the podcast been going on?
About 7.5 years. We got about 375 episodes. We do one each week. DirtySecretsOfSmallBusiness.com.
Man, they're gaining on us.
How many episodes? How many? Yeah, we'll do an episode comparison. How many?
Yeah,
You just said 370 something.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Sorry.
75. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We got over 400. Say much.
Yeah.
But
we got you on our sites. It's okay. It's good.
Dirty Secrets of Small Business. Go give that a 5-star and subscribe to it. And then MaximumVP.com if you want to reach out. Thank you all for coming on. Always.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Always fun talking to you guys.
Thank
See ya.
you.